Welcome to the Tangent Gentleman. Each week we start with a topic from the previous episode, then we see where that conversation takes us. Along the way, a question, idea, or disagreement sparks a tangent, and that tangent will be next week's discussion. And tonight, from last week, our topic is gambling.
I don't know if I should be feel like y'all are talking about me when Chris suggested that. But before we start, I want to read something. Okay.
Okay.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
Okay. FanDuel disclaimers ensure legal compliance, age limits, and house rules terms are explicitly cleared. You must be at least 21 years of age and physically located within the state where FanDuel Sports is legally allowed. If you feel you have a problem gambling, reach out to 1-800-GLMBLAR for help.
So that's our disclaimer before we get into gambling. We're going to steal from FanDuel.
If you leave this thinking maybe you want to do this, don't. That's my advice.
So but what anyway. Was that? 1-800-GAMBLER?
Part of it's a number. I didn't want to read the whole number, so
okay.
It's basically 1-800-GAMBLER. It's probably just. I think it's GMB, whatever 7 letters are.
Okay. All right. Well,
and there's a specific one by state. Because as you may recall, initially sports betting wasn't legal in Kentucky. It was legal in Indiana. So you had to go to Indiana to bet.
Yeah.
To do sports betting.
Yeah.
And then they have a different 1-800 number.
Wow.
They also have different rules. I learned in Kentucky, you can be 18. But in most states, you have to be 21.
Well, it wasn't that long ago that sports gambling was illegal just about everywhere.
Everywhere but Nevada.
Yeah.
Did you do that research?
No,
so
I didn't.
I got some history research.
No.
Okay, we'll start there.
Okay.
So up until 1992, it was illegal everywhere except Nevada. And then
statewide or Las Vegas?
I think statewide.
Okay.
Because I know they had it in Reno and Tahoe.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 92, they codified it and said it's absolutely it's illegal. They came up with an agreement with the professional sports, and there's an acronym for the law that said you can't do it. And then around early 2000s, when Chris Christie was governor of New Jersey, there were 3 consecutive cases where he tried to sue to get it legal. And it's fascinating because the Supreme Court decision that made it legal has nothing to do with gambling. It's based upon the 10th Amendment, and I'm not a lawyer, so I can't get too deep into the weeds on this, but it's based on the 10th Amendment, which says states have the right to make rules or laws for things that the federal government does not have laws for.
Okay.
So since there is no federal law outlawing sports gambling, individual states decided to create their own laws to say it was legal.
Huh.
And when they started lobbying, so New Jersey, Chris Christie was governor, they were the first state to get it. Initially, the NBA, MLB, NFL, and all the professional sports or leagues were opposed to it. But once New Jersey got it, and that case got challenged to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, yes, they're allowed to do that because there's no federal law against it, and the 10th Amendment says states can do what they want. Then it became legal in New Jersey, and that was just like the hole in the dam.
Then bar the door. Yeah.
Bar the door. And most of the same lobbyist that worked with the attorney that made the case that won at the Supreme Court, guess who was first to hire that lobby firm?
DraftKings.
Well, DraftKings, FanDuel, and 2 other parties.
Yeah.
The MLB and the NBA.
Oh, okay.
So all 4 of them were lobbying with the same lobbying group to get it passed. But publicly, the NBA was saying, oh, this is going to ruin sports. But the fact is, they were lobbying. They were all lobbying. There's an I listened to a whole podcast today on it. The guy wrote a book about it's called Everybody Loses, the problems with sports gambling.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's gambling in general. We have to get into that a little bit. But yeah, sports gambling's still illegal here in North Dakota. Which is interesting. You can make player prop bets. Have you seen that? Have you seen the two DraftKings apps? Like you've got the sports book, and then you got the Pick Six or whatever it is that has the player props.
Yeah.
Well, you can do those. And their explanation is that player prop bets are skill based.
Right. And you have to have two players on opposing teams.
Right. Yeah, you can't bet all one team.
We had that here in Kentucky. Prize Picks was the one we had. And that was the same thing. You could only do and now there are several of those. I mean, I have those accounts. I don't use them much anymore. But they're all skill based, which is just ridiculous. I mean, what a loophole.
I had a 4-player parlay the other night. I think it was game 4, and I missed it by 1 rebound. Karl Anthony Towns. He had to have 12 plus rebounds, and he finished with 11.
I had a parlay in every night of the NBA Finals, and I try to keep them to 4 legs, no more than 4 legs.
Yeah.
And I do those same things, like somebody's points, rebounds, and assists. And this is no exaggeration. I lost 4 parlays, every one of them was 1 leg missing, like you said, a point, a rebound, or an assist.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I, when I first started, so for our loyal listeners, you probably know this if you know me, I'm into sports gambling. I mean, I do it every day, pretty much. And early on, I learned, I watched a couple videos and read some people's stuff, and they said you should never make a bet. You should establish a bankroll, and you should never make a bet more than 5% of that bankroll. So if you decide $100 is your bankroll, you should never make more than a $5 bet. And I stuck to that early on. And I was very religious as far as following that strategy. I would bet $3 or $5 on all my bets.
Yeah.
And then now, I mean, I've been fairly successful, and my bankroll is a lot more than my initial $100.
Yeah.
But I still am pretty conservative on my bets.
So you win. You win. You're ahead sports betting.
Yeah. Yeah. When did I start? Well, it was before I retired. So 2021. So I'm 5 years in, we'll say. Yeah, I'm up a fair amount.
So where do you think sports betting falls in on, if you have to list things that are considered gambling, from skill, luck, where would sports betting fall in with other things like poker, craps, blackjack, slot machines, horse racing, roulette?
Well, I think roulette is at the most gambling of the continuum.
Yeah, that's luck.
Absolute luck.
And slots and slot machines.
And slot machines, yeah.
They're at the bottom if you want to put luck at the
total
bottom.
Total random generator things.
Yeah.
I would probably say on the other end of the continuum, it's hard to say because you can't even say if you're a really good poker player. I mean, sometimes you can make the right bet, read the players correctly, but card is random. It's 52 cards, right? Or if you're just not getting the card. There could be 0 kings out of that deck, and you need a king. It doesn't matter that you're 30 cards into that deck, you're still not getting a king.
Yeah.
I
still think there's a lot of skill in that, because the other side of that is, Texas Hold'em. If you watch that, it's always the same people at the final table.
Right. Sure.
Always.
Yeah.
There's very rarely a newcomer. And
I have a friend that's it's a curious. He has been very successful at horse betting, and he's a full actuary, so obviously a numbers guy, PhD in math. He believes that horse racing is the most. How did he put it? It is the gambling that rewards the most informed bettor more than any other race, any other gambling.
Really?
Because he said all the data is there.
Yeah.
You just have to know how to call out the pertinent information.
Yeah.
And he's won. So there's the pick 6. You know what that is, right? You pick 6 consecutive races. He's hit the pick 6 twice.
Are you serious? Wow.
Yeah. And in Churchill Downs, they have a competition ever so often. I don't know how frequent it is, where you get like 100 fictional dollars on Friday. And then whoever has the most money on Monday wins a trip to Vegas. And he's won that several times.
Yeah.
So,
well, my son has a friend that came to Louisville from North Dakota to the Kentucky Derby and absolutely loved it. And I think he's gone every year since. And he puts $100, I think it is, on the favorite to win every race, and he wins every year.
Interesting. Wow, that's really, especially on Derby Day, because my friend, the horse guy, he said that Derby Day is the hardest day to bet in Churchill Downs.
Yeah.
Because the quality of horses are so good. You know, the top 6 horses in every race are great horses.
Well, I think you also have a lot of people who don't regularly bet horse racing, and they come in and they bet their favorite jockey and their favorite trainer and
a color, or,
their favorite number. You know, that's what I do a lot. Yeah,
it's funny. I used to bet horses, and then when I started sports betting and started researching and being knowledgeable, I mean, I'm pretty knowledgeable. Like I can tell you, like I probably made 10 bets today. And I can tell you why I made, like, there's a reason. Like I did 2 sets of 3 guys to hit a home run. I researched their experience versus that pitcher's tendencies versus left or right-handed. And then the park they're playing in. What's the weather like? And what's the nature of that park? Like, for example, the Cincinnati Reds. I mean, commonly amongst betting types, the Reds ballpark, which is Great American Ballpark, is called Great American Small Park.
Yeah.
Because left-handed batters hit more home runs in Cincinnati than anywhere else in the league.
Yeah.
You know?
So did you win?
So,
you don't know yet.
I didn't bet on the Reds tonight.
Oh, okay.
I bet on them last night and won. So I'm a Reds fan. It's hard for me because my fandom always intersects my betting. Not in the NBA, because I don't dislike the NBA, but I don't have a favorite NBA team. But I won't bet against the Reds.
So you make bets every day. Are you addicted to sports gambling?
No.
Okay. So what takes it from casual gambling to compulsive behavior?
Well, I mean, one thing I can say is I talked about my what I call it.
Your bankroll?
My bankroll.
Yeah.
I established my bankroll in a sports book. And I put in an initial amount. Initially, that amount was 100. Now it's a little bit more. I've never replenished that out of my own bank account.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a sports betting account. Like say theoretically, I have a FanDuel account.
Yeah.
And let's say I put $100 in my FanDuel account. I played it for a couple of years, and it got up to $1,000, $1,200. So I took $200 out, and I just put it in this account and said, that's my gambling money. Okay. So then DraftKings comes along, and I want to have an account in DraftKings. I take $100 out of my gambling money account, which is all winnings that I got from FanDuel, to populate that DraftKings account. Then that DraftKings account builds up, and I decide, I want to have a BetMGM account. I'll take $100 out of DraftKings and put it in BetMGM.
Are they all ahead?
They're all ahead, yeah.
Damn, Scott. Because I looked up today to see what percentage of people filing on the IRS as professional gamblers, and it's 1/100th of a percentage point to 5/100th of a percentage point. Like very few people
listed as gamblers
that file taxes as gamblers. Yeah.
Well, one thing I heard on this podcast today, which just blew my mind, because I do gamble every day, but I will say I think it's a terrible idea. Neither of my sons gamble.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they don't. Because this is all, hey, I'm retired, I've got a little money, I'm going to have some fun. That's what this is. You know,
is that because you are under control and you feel like you could easily lose control? Do you ever question yourself about where you are on that line?
Oh, absolutely.
You do?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have your own boundaries? Like what's...
I do.
Okay.
If I have 2 consecutive days of losses, like net losses,
yeah,
then I take a day off.
Okay.
So, and I'm just like, I'm not going to bet today. Or the other thing
what's the reasoning for that? Like, is it
like, because I don't want to fall into the trap of, oh, I lost.
Try to catch losses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I lost $50 yesterday. I need to make 100 today. I don't want to get caught in that trap.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other thing is, the other thing I'll do, I kind of, I see things I like, I like watches. So there's a couple watches I'm kind of thinking I might get, or there's a kind of getting into coffee. So I kind of wanted to get an espresso machine, which is a pretty expensive purchase. And, so I had like 2 consecutive days gambling, losing days gambling. And I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to bet for 3 days, but I'm going to buy that watch out of my winnings. Or one time I literally bought the espresso machine out of the winnings.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if the whole point of this is just to enjoy it, having money sitting in an account just so I can bet more on it, that's not the only way to enjoy money. Like money should do something. I think I talked about this before. Every Christmas, my wife and I take our 2 sons out for a really nice dinner. And we jokingly say it's a you don't have to ask dinner. It's like, oh, I think I want to have this whatever appetizer. Well, we should get that. And I just pay for it out of sports betting. So.
Yeah.
But that's very, very rare. So I recognize how rare that is.
What is it? It's not trying to make money. That's not the reason you sports bet. You're not trying to make money. So what is it do you think's the draw for you?
Oh, win.
Mm-hmm.
To be validated for your reasoning, and to feel like you're getting something for nothing or something for a little, Do
you think?
But it's funny.
Do you think you value or you enjoy the risk or the uncertainty in it?
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
I think that's what I get from. I feel like I get that from gambling. But I got a little different. My perspective on it is different because I don't win. So like if I go to Churchill Downs, I just take the money that I plan to lose that day. It's kind of like going to dinner. I decide, okay, we're going to spend $200 on dinner tonight, or we're going to spend. I just plan on losing it. Yeah, we went to the casino yesterday. We're about an hour from Prairie Knights Casino on the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation, and we went there yesterday, and we just. We say, here's what we're going to take, and, it's just entertainment, and I plan on losing it.
Yeah.
Then the other side of it, when I do, if we win money, that's just a bonus, and we usually blow it on something that we wouldn't usually buy.
Right, exactly. It's funny. I have this funny story. So, I have several aquariums. I got into aquarium. I've had aquariums since I was probably in my teens. And I've been going to the same pet store for years. Shout out Sandy's Pet Store. And I was in there, and one of the guys said to me, he goes, yeah, I noticed you've been coming in a little bit more lately. And I said, yeah. And he looked up and I was checking out, he looked at my phone number. He's like, wow. So we have all of our customers like in the system, and, by the order of which they've been a customer. And I can't remember what I was, but I was under 100. So I was one of their first 100 documented customers.
Wow. Yeah.
They have over like 10. I think he said they have over 10,000 customers. And he's like, so you're like an old school customer,
you're
right?
An OG.
I'm an OG. OG in the fish department. And I said, so just out of curiosity, can you tell me how much money I've spent here in that? He said, yeah, I can tell you. And he pulls it up, and it's just got like a distribution graph by the year. And you see this spike and me spending like hundreds of dollars. Because like the aquariums I have now,
that's when the Bengals and the Reds are doing well.
Exactly. But I have really nice lights, programmed LED, multiple wavelength lights, because I have plants in all my aquariums. And he's like, yeah, I noticed, you spent, hundreds of dollars at this time. And he's like, what happened? And I said, sports gambling. He said, what do you mean? I said, when I started winning in sports gambling, and I'd end up at the end of the month with $400 in my account, and I'd be like, I'm going to take this back to the 100, my original 100. what can I spend $300 on? Oh, I'll buy that stupidly expensive LED light for my aquarium, you know? And that's
Yeah.
what I did.
Yeah.
That's what I did. And so I'm the same way. I'm like, oh, I kind of want like an espresso machine. I don't need an espresso machine, but what the hell, you know, it's free money. So
do you like casinos?
I do. We've gone a few times. Yeah. You know, it's weird because they've changed so much. It's not as much personal interaction. It seems like to me when I go, it's like machines, a lot of either video machines or mechanical, like
Instead of tables and things.
Yeah. Didn't we play the craps, the automated bubble craps? Did we play that together?
Yeah, around where you sit around the table. Yeah.
And it's just not, it just doesn't have the same feel to me. It's a little more, I don't know, antiseptic and
I feel like
what do you play when you go?
I feel like I can control those dice too when I hold them and throw them. I got a certain way I line them up, and it's just no. I enjoy gambling, but it's purely entertainment, you know. And I think about. I was just thinking about some things today, and one is addiction, you know. And I was thinking about I wonder what it is that causes some people to just take it to excess, you know, and others not to. And then the other thing I thought about was just the math, you know, with our math backgrounds, just how, I mean, you know, people really believe if roulette's come up red the last 10 times, it's got to be, the odds of it being black this next time is up there.
Well, it's the same for hitters. I mean, people talk, I don't watch a whole lot of them, but I watch certain people for gambling advice, and they'll say, oh, so-and-so's they're they hit 275 against right-handers. They're facing a right-handed pitcher today. They haven't had a hit in 3 games. They're going to get a hit tonight. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, 275 is what, you know, that's 27.5%. That's not a great percentage of that happening.
Yeah.
And it is funny how that goes, you know, and it is, I don't know. I mean, you can't, to me, you can't, I look at it like, don't kid myself into thinking I've figured anything out. And sometimes the bet that loses was still the right bet to make. You know, it made sense to do that. You know, it should have happened. You know, but it didn't. Yeah. And that's just the way it goes. So
if you're betting on horses or people,
just in the World Cup yesterday, I had a bet on Spain. Spain, who's most people are saying is the best, probably going to win the World Cup. They were playing Cape Verde, who several people have said shouldn't even be in the World Cup. And I bet Spain to win by 2.5 goals, and it ended 0-0. Like, there's no way in the world. I mean, the sports books must have made a fortune yesterday.
Yeah.
Because everybody thought Spain was going to win.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's another side, you know. Do you think, I mean, betting on sports definitely makes watching sports more exciting?
Yes and no. It does. It does. I do find it has taken some of the joy out of it for me.
Oh, really? Is it because you're just watching so much sports, though?
Well, because you can't look. So, case in point, last week during the NBA Finals, that game where the Knicks came back, they were down 20-something points. I think it was game 5.
Yeah, that's one I missed my parlay by 1 rebound.
Yeah. So they're down 4, and they come back from 29 down. Well, I had a few bets going in that game. And my son, we were watching it together, and he was like, this is amazing. This is unbelievable that the Spurs are crashing this much, and the Knicks keep coming back. And all I was thinking about is, is this guy going to get another rebound? I wish he could score 3 more points. And like, I lost. And a lot of times what I have to remind myself to do is at halftime or the 4th inning or whatever, I'll just close up because every day I write down what I bet. I just close it up and put it away. And if it's a game, like if it's like a Reds game or a big game that I'm watching, I just close it up and put it away because
I don't keep up with it. I don't keep up with it possession, you know.
But because it to your point, it really alters how you view the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't enjoy it as a fan of sports. You don't enjoy the sport because you're so consumed with the minutia.
Yeah.
You know, or the outcome as it relates to your wager. And I don't know. To me, that's when it gets that. I don't know. it's funny. This is a different thing altogether, but it's the same kind of idea. Years ago, when my younger son was probably early teens, I was coaching this baseball team. We had a game, and we were going, and it was the day that the birthday bourbon came out. And I thought I knew a place to go get it. And so I go there to get it, and I go, and they told me they'd have it. And I go in, and oh, we don't have your name. We don't know, blah, blah, blah. And I came out, and I was just so angry. I was like, what are you mad about, Dad? I was like, oh, I just get this bourbon, da, da, da. And he's like, well, is that really, is that going to be a problem? Is that bad? I mean, like, I'm like, no, it's really not. Let's go play baseball. I mean, and it just reminded me that, like, the stuff that really matters is not whether you hit your parlay or whether you get this stupid bourbon. You lose track of the joy of sports, in that case. So I don't know. But
so what do you think it is in your personality that lets you spend so much time on sports betting and bet every day, but maintain control and stay a casual gambler?
Not to get too much on this analysis couch, but I think my father had a gambling problem.
Yeah.
And I'm very cognizant of that. So anytime I get even remotely close to that or feel like that, I'm like, I'm not doing that. And I just step away. I think I have a real big, like, filter or a red light for that, if you will, that I can just say, no, I'm not getting into that. And then, like you said, the math.
Yeah.
Like, intellectually, theoretically, or, from a statistical standpoint, you understand the math.
Yeah.
And you know that regardless of how good you are at analyzing, the books win.
Yeah. Casinos aren't these extravagant places just for no reason.
Yeah, right.
So I know that I think about the same thing. You're not going to win when you go in there, but I also had one hell of a good time when I went into Caesars, Indiana, and I was betting $1.60 per bet on a slot machine, and I won $11,000.
Right, that's great, right?
Yeah. And, that's kind of like, that's just what you're, that's the bonus, I'm counting on losing everything, but, when that happens, it's great.
I mean, I don't know much about hockey at all, and I don't bet it a whole lot, but there's a guy that I follow on Twitter, and he's funny, and he posts hockey bets every day. And I periodically will bet them. And one time I bet a $5 4-leg, these 4 guys to score a goal, 4 different hockey games, 4 different, and they scored. All 4 of them scored. They paid I think it was like $500. And to me, I mean, that was great, but it also just speaks to the ridiculousnly of me winning that bet.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
The only reason they can pay you is because not very many people won.
Exactly. Yeah. And this guy, and the funny thing is, this guy posts those every day. And that's one thing I find fascinating about sports betting, particularly because most of my information filters through Twitter in some way, or X, whatever, in some way. People post every day these amazing tickets. I bet these 4 hitters to hit a home run, and it came through, and I bet $1 and I won 1,000 or whatever. And I always think, show me the 200 tickets that you bet from 4 random hitters that didn't get home runs. Because that's much more I mean, you're not, I mean, it's just dumb luck. I mean, I hit a parlay today in the soccer game, and it was 4-leg, and it was just, I mean, it paid nice, but it was just kind of dumb luck. I mean, it was somewhat knowledgeable. I mean, I thought, France should have won and Norway should have won, and they did, and those were 2 of the legs. But, it's just, I don't know. It's like fantasy football. People take all this credit about, I'm so great at fantasy football.
Yeah.
We might know somebody like that. I'm not naming names. They might be on the podcast later. But so great. And fantasy football, I mean, there is a skill to fantasy football, but there's a lot of luck too. So,
well, it's kind of fantasy football. I know the league that I'm in, it's the people that look at it every day that end up winning. I don't keep up with it. Sometimes I forget to change my lineup, and I have a player that's on by.
That drives me crazy. Yeah. I mean, I've won the fantasy league. I've been in a few leagues. I've won them.
Yeah.
But it's also luck. Yeah.
So how much of gambling do you think we enjoy because there is something in human nature that needs a little risk? in their lives.
Oh, yeah, I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
I think you know what I also think, and the article or the podcast I was listening to today, the book that they had written had some analysis, and they kind of tracked it. And one of the things they started to see these trends in was the idea that I'm entitled to get my share also. You know, this idea that, you know, hey, everybody else is getting rich. I need to get mine.
Yeah.
You know, and they identified three things
they
that
tied
were
that
common
to gambling.
That they thought the rise in gambling, one of the reasons was the idea that people thought that was their path. That's how they were going to get rich.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of like, how do you feel about the lottery?
I mean, I rarely play the lottery.
Yeah, I don't play it much either, but
I only play personally, I only play the lottery when it is a mathematically fair game. So what that means is, like, your chance, I don't know what the numbers are anymore. I haven't played it in months, but there was a time your chance of winning the lottery was 1 in like 375 million. Okay.
All right.
So a ticket costs $2.
So it's got to be 700 million,
750 million. Yeah. Okay. Because that is a mathematically fair game. The payout for me winning is equivalent to the risk I take. You know, suffice it to say, I haven't won the lottery, but
is the price, you know, is the price, because I think what you're talking about with like that article you read, you're talking about hope, you know.
Yeah.
You hope something like this will happen to you.
Right.
And a lot of times, I mean, I think the price of a $2 lottery ticket, the little hope you have there, and, you know, having those conversations about what would you do with $750 million and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's well worth it to me.
Well, no, I agree. And that I used to, when we were working together, and it seemed like whenever the lottery got to a certain amount, there was a group of people.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we're going to pull our money and we're going to buy $20 worth of tickets or whatever.
James,
and
he usually put it together. Yeah.
Shout out James. Yeah, exactly. I used to come home and talk to my, because I always had this idea about if I ever won the lottery, what I would do. And one of the things I would do is, because you can't just give people money, because they incur tax liability. If I just give you $200,000, you have to deal with that tax wise. I don't want to encourage. So I always had this idea about what would I do if I won like a stupid amount of money. And the one thing you can do is you can sell your house and not have to pay capital gains if you're living in it for, I think, 5 years, and you don't have to pay capital gains tax on it. So what I had this idea of, what I would do this every time we did, like, I'd identify like 10 or 20 people, and they were always teacher friends in education. And like, I would go to you and I'd say, Brad, I've come into a fair amount of money. I want to buy your house. So what's a fair market value for your house? Okay. You're going to say, I'll sell you my house for $400,000. Okay. Well, here's the terms of the deal. I'm buying your house for $400,000. I own your house. You can live in it for $1 a year for the rest of you, for as long as you want to. Now, if you move, it's mine to sell, but you get to live in that house for free, and you get $400,000 or for $1. And I thought that would be just a great way to like give money to my friends and not have them incur a burden. Now, obviously, I didn't go through all the legal and lawyer.
What about just deciding who all you want to share the money with and say, we all contributed 3 cents to this ticket?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like, let's see. And I always wonder how that works. Like, can you form like an LLC before you claim it? Like, could we form the Bulldog Lottery LLC?
I don't know.
And we say we're all in it and we're all 1/20th shareholders. I mean, I don't know if you can do that. I don't know how that,
I don't know. Maybe we'll know someday. Well, we don't play.
Yeah, I don't play. So.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't either. That was my dad. My dad played the lottery a lot.
All right, so let me ask you this. Yeah. Do you feel like your gambling habits are healthy to your lifestyle?
Yeah, I think they are. It's fun. I mean, it's a fun thing I do in life.
Yeah,
That's what it is for me.
I do too.
And,
I feel like my gambling is healthy, and I think about that. I mean, there's like you could easily argue that every good thing in this world, excess becomes bad.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I kind of think that's where gambling falls. It's kind of that moderation idea.
Yeah. So one of the things I was going to say that came up in this when they were talking about the studies of the rise of sports gambling, particularly amongst college age students, they found these 3 traits amongst most of the players. They were bored. They identified as bored, lonely, and financially desperate.
That's probably not healthy.
Right. And that's when you ask me, like, do I have a problem? I don't think I'm as it relates to gambling, I'm not any of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if somebody, like today, for example, I was researching some gambling and making, playing on some bets. And a friend reached out and said, "Hey, you want to go to the movies?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I just put the gambling away and I went to the movies,
Yeah.
And that years ago, a friend of mine who's a doctor, we were talking about, I think it was about alcoholism and addictions.
Yeah.
And he said, one of the things I've noticed with my patients is if they start to tell me things and I realize that their primary relationship is with this other, whether it's alcohol, tobacco, their job, gambling.
Yeah.
Then that's the first sign that they might have an addiction problem.
Yeah.
And
I think a lot of times, we tend to think of addiction as maybe I don't know if weakness is a good word, but a lot of times it's probably an admirable personality trait that's just pushed to the extreme and excess. Like, you talked about work. I think of a lot of people that I came through education with that were very ambitious, and a lot of them, or some of them, it went into an unhealthy addiction. What you call a workaholic. It just was everything about who they became and who they were, and it's just, and I think a lot. I think it can be argued a lot. A lot of times a strong. Competition, you talk about why you like to gamble is to win. Well, if you're very competitive, you could push that to the extreme. You could push that to excess. And the next thing you know, you have a problem.
If you work at a law firm, I want the most billable hours. I want to get the most, value judgments. I want to get, all these things. And next thing you know, you're spending 100 hours a week at work, and you are getting some of those rewards.
Yeah.
I mean, you are turning over big dollars and you are getting promotions within the firm or whatever the structure is.
What's the thing said?
What cost?
Same reward systems that slot machines capitalize on in our brain.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's another fascinating thing is the whole dopamine thing, like what you get. And I see that it's fascinating to me when so basically my ritual is I'll start, I read the paper, get through all my morning puzzles, whatever. And then I'll start to look at the sports books and see. And they always have these suggested parlays.
Yeah.
And our suggested boosts. And I look at them and I think, why would they want you to, who would take that?
On the front page, here's the best bet of the week.
Yeah. Why would you take that? What, for example, tonight, we'll see what happens. Argentina game. Lionel Messi. Everyone knows Lionel Messi, one of the greatest soccer players ever. And one of the most popular bets is Lionel Messi to score a goal tonight. And I've read so many things that they may not even play him but about 10 minutes because they're expected to win. And so it's like you're going to bet a guy to score a goal who's only scoring 25%, only possibly playing 25% of the game. And moreover, the payoff is terrible. Because, normally scoring a goal pays 2 to 3 to 1. It's usually plus 200, plus 300, depending on the player. And it's like plus 135. And I'm like, are you serious? Who would take that bet? Now, as soon as I say that, he'll score 3 goals tonight. But I'm not betting on Messi to score a goal. So.
But it is just the psychological aspect is, amazing, when you think about it, especially like with slot machines, because, I feel like I understand. I have a good, firm understanding of probability and know how things work. But I still, when that thing comes up, jackpot, and then the jackpot misses it by just right below the line, I'm like, damn, I almost had it. I know deep down it wasn't any closer than when it was a cherry and an orange and a strawberry, but it's still, it does something to you.
It is. That, like I bet I'll bet, like I said, I bet that one goal in hockey, but I'll bet home run parlays periodically, 3 of them, like 3 people to hit a home run, just random baseball players who have good matchups. And when you hit 2 of them, the book immediately comes back and says, "Oh, would you like to cash out?"
Yeah, oh yeah.
And when you look at the number that they're offering you, it's like, why in the world would I do that? Like, I mean, because now you're talking about one guy hitting a home run. If that one guy hits a home run, suddenly it's going to pay 10 to 1,
the other thing I think about, though, so you got those guys making these calculations, where to set the points, where to set the lines, and also how much to offer back when people are starting to get close to hit these things.
Yeah.
If there are people that can be so good at that, there's people on the other side that can be so good at winning against them.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Actually, one thing I read one time was about the cash outs. Like, if you ever want to cash out in those situations, if you take the cash out, what you should then do is follow that player and live bet them, because you can live bet everything. Every time they come to the plate, hit a home run. Because you get to where hitting a home run, the odds at bat hitting a home run is usually at least 10 to 1.
Yeah.
So you take the money out and you say, okay, I bet $5. I've already won. They're going to give me 120. Okay, I'll take 100 out and I'll take that other 20 and I'll split it up every time this person comes to bat and bet them to live bet. And you still won't get close to what you would have got if you just kept it all in there, but you get a little bit closer. And again, it's fun. I mean, if you're going to be watching a baseball game and you've got $3 on this guy to hit a home run, I mean, it's exciting. You watch the guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Strike out. That's what they do. They strike out.
Hey, I think our buddy Chris has a new strategy. Did you see him pop in here at 40 minutes?
I did. It's a little subtle reminder.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, shut up.
Let's bring him on.
Or maybe he's mad at me. He might be mad at me. I may have alluded to him earlier. I don't know.
Oh, he'll come on and say, yeah, I am the 3-time champ.
I'm 6-time champion.
That's what his name is in our league, is 3-time champ.
Let's see.
Let's
he's
bring
fared
Chris
almost. All right.
Yeah.
Come on in, Chris.
Yeah. We got to grade gambling. Man, it's going to be tough because there are people that have big problems with gambling.
Yep. I agree.
Let's see what Chris has to say. Hey, was that intentional, man?
That was, anytime somebody gives me credit with having a strategy, I like to just take it. But actually, I was just minimizing some stuff and actually hit join, and there I was. I said, "Oh."
All right.
But yeah, it was at the 40-minute mark.
Exactly.
So, around that, it was.
I thought that's where we were going. Yeah.
And then the funny thing was, I had it back on live, and I got to see myself buzz in again. So, I've learned more about Scott on this podcast than all the other ones. And
really?
Yeah. Is it?
Well, this is like an interview. I've learned a lot. The last thing you said is probably hits me with gambling, but it's fun, like $3, and it's fun to watch and see what happens.
Yeah.
But it was a good listen, and it led me to some good topics and some things. Like, here's a question: would you rather, if you had to give up one, Scott, would you give up bourbon or gambling?
Oh, gambling in a heartbeat.
There you go. Good answer.
You know why? And you know why? It's like Brad said. There is a culture, there's a folklore, there's a friendship around bourbon.
Yeah.
What about I was wondering, like, what's your biggest win and maybe your biggest bet you put on a loss?
Oh, I know my biggest bet on a loss. And it is also coupled with the best decision I've ever made in gambling. My biggest win, I think, may have been that hockey one I just talked about. I bet $5 on, I think it was 4 guys to score a goal, and they all did, and I won almost $500. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Let me ask you, that kind of leads into this.
Let me tell you about my biggest loss.
Okay.
It's a pretty good story. So there's one of the guys I follow. for betting. The guys I followed from the very beginning. I watched all their videos and they did like tutorials on betting. And they're the ones that told me about the 3 to 5% of your bankroll. They do this thing called a ladder challenge, which it's just a geometric progression. So you start out, you bet $10 on an event, and the event's usually two things. Like it'll be two guys to get a hit in baseball.
Yeah.
2 guys to get a hit, 2 or 3 guys is usually right around plus 100. So that's you bet 10, you win 10. And then if you win, so you have 20. So then you bet 20 on the next day on some event. And then if you win 40, and if you bet 40. And so that progresses pretty quickly. So this was back during the NFL's, when the Bengals were still competing before whatever. They were playing the Bills in Buffalo. And it was a combination of like 3 or 4 events. And the ladder was up to $2,400. So I had bet $10.
Yeah.
Wow. I made a $1,200 bet and it hit. So it paid $2,400. So I started with 10 and I now had $2,400. And so they had a $2,400 bet proposed. And I was like, I can't do that. I can't lose 2,000 because this is now 2,000. This isn't pretend. This is really $2,400. So I can't do it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 2,000 out, and I'm going to take 1,900 out. I'm going to bet 500 on this event. So I bet 500 on the event, which is the most I'd ever bet on anything other than the ladder. And I remember the leg. The leg was several things, and the last leg was Stephon Diggs to get 35 receiving yards, which he had got.
It's automatic, man. It's automatic.
Every game in the NFL he had played.
Absolutely.
He ended up with 34 yards.
Oh.
So that lost. So those people lost $2,400.
Jeez.
I only lost $1,500 or only lost $500. I was never so happy to lose $500 in my life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So those are the extremes. Yeah, right there.
The only time I felt like I had a cheat code and I didn't take advantage of it, if I could go back, especially that first year when Kenny Payne was U of L's coach.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like I know basketball, I know basketball really well, and especially U of L basketball. But every time you'd see a game and you see the line, it'd be like U of L at North Carolina. North Carolina's 19-4, Louisville's 3-15, and the spread's 7. And I'm just like, that's not happening. And it never did. And I could have won so much money that year just betting against U of L.
But see, that gets to the point.
Actually.
Like, could you bet? It's hard to. You can't bet against her.
You don't ever need to bet Louisville, man. You're too much of a fan.
Now, listen. The only time I've ever had sport. You ready for my my sports bets? I've done it a few times, and it's through with Cooper. I'll put $25 on UK every U of L basketball and UK U of L basketball and football game. That way, hey, look, U of L wins or loses.
You're happy?
I don't care. And they win. I don't care about $25, $30 at all. So that's my bet that I've actually put down the last like 4 or 5 times they played. That works out good. All right.
So let's grade this thing. Let's grade gambling.
Okay. Sports betting.
Tough one to grade.
No, gambling in general.
Oh, gambling in general.
Are you going to do separate sports betting grade?
No, we can do gambling in general. That's fine.
Hey, I do. I have some. Let me throw these stats out before we get off the subject. Because I look these up. So this is the top. We'll do the top 5 states per capita and what they bet they spend on online gambling a month. Okay. So what's your guess on the state? And I will say Kentucky and North Dakota did not make it.
New York.
Did it? New York is number 4 at 95. Their average citizen, average New Yorker, $95 a month.
California.
Not on there.
New Jersey.
New Jersey is number 2. The average New Jerseyan spends $105 a month. That's per capita.
It's going to be all the New England. It's going to be New England gambling. Riches.
Well, here's the number 1.
Illinois?
No. The number 1 is Nevada. Now, I kind of wonder.
Really?
I guess you're there. Yeah, I surprised me too, but it was $140 a month. It was by far the most spent on for their residents on online gambling. They round up. You got number 4 is Michigan. Number 5 is Pennsylvania. Then Massachusetts, Maryland, Colorado, Arizona, and then Ohio. So yeah, it was interesting. That's a lot per person.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's just the online gambling.
Yeah.
Not anything else.
So that article, that whatever podcast / book reference to the book that I was listening to today, I was blown away. They said that the average person loses between $100 and $120 a month on sports betting.
Ooh.
The average player. And I just thought, that's just crazy. Like that, I just can't imagine that.
That doesn't surprise me because I lose every time I make a bet.
But you bet like that?
No, I don't bet. I sports bet. Like I'll bet horses with my dad and my cousin when we get together, and I'll bet sports maybe 6 times a year, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I did hit the exacta in the Kentucky Derby this year. Then I closed my account and took my couple $100. Yeah.
There you go. That's the smartest thing you can do.
Yeah.
Walk away. So what's your grade on gambling as it exists as a societal component?
I'm kind of thinking of it from an entertainment standpoint, like going to an art museum or going to dinner or something like that. So I'm going to say A-.
Oh, I felt a B+. So I thought it was a B+.
See, I think. Okay, go ahead, Chris.
I'll get mine out of the way. You guys are the main dudes here talking about it, but you guys probably brought me up. I was going to go with I'll go with the C+/B- on this. And just because there is a balance, as fun as it can be for people like Scott that has a plan, that has control, that's a positive. But there's also a lot of people out there that just struggle. And, you got that football player from Texas Tech, which I was wondering if you guys were going to bring up, who had like 5,000 different bets on college football, or not just college football, but everything. And now he's going to be in the rule that he could play this year because I can't remember his name, but he was at Cincinnati. Yeah, he was at Cincinnati. Now he's at Texas Tech. And I'm just like, now that's an addiction.
Yeah.
And that's somebody that can impact it. He could go in at halftime and make a bet and say, I'm going to throw 3 interceptions this second half, even though we're up 21. And I'm going to, it's so controlled. So it's middle of the road. I'd probably honestly just settle on a C because it can go either way.
I think it's a harmless way to take some risk.
I think
until it's not.
I think in general, my grade would be like a D or a D-.
Our first big discrepancies.
Yeah.
Honestly, I enjoy it. I do it every day. I think it's a terrible idea. I really do.
I think
it's made people not enjoy sports. And I think when you think about it I think betting on college sports should be absolutely outlawed. Because you think about a kid at, you fill in the blank small school. I'm the small forward at Kennesaw State. And some guy comes to me, and I got NL money. I make $40,000 or whatever, no thousands of dollars, whatever I make. And the guy comes to me and says, hey, buddy, look, I need you to get no more than 4 rebounds tonight. I got some people. We'll give you $100,000.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't even take that much.
Yeah. But I'm saying that is a very real scenario, and no one would know. Like, if you're watching Kennesaw State play basketball and a guy doesn't get in position for a rebound and it only ends up with 3 rebounds, are you going to say, wow, that guy was really out of position in that game against, Alcorn State? I really thought he would have, been all over the boards.
Well,
the Terry Rozier.
Yeah.
The Terry Rozier case was interesting. So you see what he did? He told his friend going into the game, and they needed to do something. They said, look, he told them this was why he's in trouble with the law. I'm going to play about 8 minutes tonight. And then I'm going to get injured. And sure enough, about 8 minutes in, he did the old pull a hammy something or another. And that changes the line, because if your star player's out of the game for 3.5 quarters, then the line would have been different. So you just bumped up the chances that so-and-so.
So that's been an interesting change in the past year and a half in sportsbook. And so it used to be, you bet a guy, like say you bet Christian McCaffrey to score a touchdown and he gets injured in the first quarter and he comes out of the game. Sorry about your luck. He's not scoring a touchdown.
Right.
Now, most sports books have this injury protection. They either give you for the first quarter or first half, and some of them have you can buy it. Like FanDuel, for 3%, you can buy injury protection on your player. So, like if you had Jalen Brunson to score 25 points and he got hurt in the third quarter and you bought injury protection, then that bet just becomes void.
Well, then they'll just, only 7% bought injury protection. You're okay to play the whole game.
Yeah, exactly. And then my argument with the injury thing was always, so let's say the Chris McCaffrey story. Okay, Chris McCaffrey doesn't get hurt, but the star linebacker for who they're playing gets hurt. Suddenly, Christian McCaffrey is going to get a lot more yards. How do you adjust for me saying Christian McCaffrey doesn't get a touchdown when the linebacker gets hurt? And the answer is you can't.
Yeah.
And that's why I always felt like the injury protection, I mean, it's gambling.
That's why
you're
it's gambling.
Taking a chance. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, isn't when I was growing up, the reason that two things, reason why you could only bet like this in Vegas, and the reason Vegas would never have a professional team was because of how this keeps it at least in one state, one place, and it otherwise. And look what happened. UNLV had a scandal involving exactly that, and so now in Amendment 10, you nailed that at the beginning. Just kind of changed everything, and it's just one of those.
But like, did you hear what I said? Like that once it passed, once New Jersey won the right, the biggest advocates for it were the MLB and the NBA. I mean, they were the ones working with the lobbyists to get it passed, and FanDuel and DraftKings in all these states. Well, shout out NFL. NFL has always been opposed, except for now when it's like every commercial break is brought to you by DraftKings or FanDuel or whatever. But anyway.
Well, y'all made me feel bad about my grade, so I got to make a qualifying statement. I was thinking,
feel bad, Brad.
I was thinking more casino, poker, blackjack, craps, those things. Yeah, that's just fun and entertainment to me. But I can see your side of it too. I mean, I could see in sports betting and probably horse racing too, I'm sure.
And I would say casinos too. I mean, my son worked at a bank, and he would tell me how like he would see these. One of the things he did is he monitored accounts for questionable activity, and he'd see these people making, on the first of the month, $10,000 withdrawals from their checking account on the first, second, and third, and it was always at the ATM at the whatever over in Indiana.
Oh yeah.
Well, speaking of Indiana, my Cooper just got married Sunday. By the way,
shout out Cooper
and Marley.
Congrats!
Congratulations! It was a beautiful day. But the first time he went to the casino was just his last summer with some buddies. And they got back at like 2, and I'm like, well, how was it? He goes, it was easy. I won $450. I went, oh my God, that's
the worst thing that could happen.
And then he does the betting app where he gets the free $100 worth of bets, hits another bet, and he won like $300 or $400 there the first time ever. And I'm like, worst case scenario, Chris, this is not good. So yeah, it does make you a little nervous, but Brad, grading it from how it works for you, that's probably a good grade. But overall, societal. Yeah, I'm more of the C- D. I would go more with Scott.
Yeah.
All right, you guys ready to hear some?
But I would argue you could say that about any good thing, like we were talking. Anything good thing, any good thing in excess is going to be bad.
And it's a lot of that came up. Let me go through what possible topics for next week.
All right.
So Scott talked about the 10th Amendment and a couple other things that came up. With laws, LAWS, and hear me out, like dumb laws. That'd be fun to talk about. Supreme Court rulings. It's great back and forth talk from Citizens United to all the way back to Brown Board. Double jeopardy. Never forget the Melignado case where he was found innocent. Then they found the body. Well, my uncle was the presiding judge over that case. And then just like taxes and like nursing homes and how people mess with how these tax laws mess with your money. Could be interesting to talk about, but you guys talked about it, so it was a tangent. Second one, Scott, when you were talking about birthday bourbon stop, and you ended that story when you couldn't get the birthday bourbon and talked about what really matters. And being as we are not spring chickens, we're not old fellows quite yet either, but how about secrets to life / happiness? And this is just the chance for, is life fair? Can you choose happiness? But kind of talk about in your life, what are some of the things you've learned? Because there's 2 ways to get wisdom. I tell this to people all the time, but mostly younger people. you're going to live and learn, and that's the hard way. And then if you can gain some wisdom by listening to people that have already done this, hey, this could be that podcast. We're going to just share some secrets. It could be from education, from parenting, just basic economic stuff. Hey, it's secrets to life.
Can we just call that one "Get Off My Lawn"?
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to go there. It does not have to go there. And then the last one, I liked your fish story when you went in and you had 10,000 customers. You were one of the top 100 customers of all time. I know I have my John Stovins. I don't want to give my whole email away, but I don't have to put any numbers in this email I've had so long. It's literally just like my name, and it's been around forever. But and then hear me out. So the topic could be on loyalty, and it goes from how you got kids that will not rat a kid out, and you're not only kids but adults. Neighborhood loyalty. You got brand loyalty. Think about things. You stick with certain brands, and I'm having trouble with this because I want to stick with certain brands when I really got to realize, hey, Craftsman isn't Craftsman anymore, people. Got to move on, but there's still that brand loyalty. What about with sports loyalty? Like, I thought of you, Scott. Man, you are a Bengals fan, and you are a loyal one. I mean, why do we do that? And I mean, that would be fun. Toxic loyalty from just terrible abusive relationships, maybe with corporations or peoples or workplaces. And then like just the bro code stuff for loyalty. So let me go through them again. Laws, and we could go with several different aspects of that. Secrets to life, just according to Scott and Brad. And I'll throw a little Chris in there at the end. Which honestly, guys, it's not a bad thing to share. And how cool would it be in 50 years for some of our great-great-grandchildren to listen to this and hear about what they thought when they were 55, pushing 60. And then loyalty, like good thing about it, bad thing about it. I think those are some good ones. So I stopped at 3. I wasn't worried about a 4th.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you think?
Go ahead, Scott.
I like loyalty. I think that's got all kinds of That's got all kinds of fun things about, the things we believe we should be responsible to. Like you said, Craftsman, that's one. Fandom, sports fandom. Just kind of your own identity, what you want to be loyal to, what you're willing to dismiss, what you're willing to not be loyal to. I think that'd be an interesting part of it. So I like loyalty, and then get off my lawn. I think it's good.
Well, you know what? There's a little of that secrets to life in the loyalty one. I think that you'll get into a little bit of sharing, your life experience based on that.
Yeah. What do you think, Brad?
Yeah. I like both those also. I don't know which one I'm leaning towards the most.
I love them both. They're going to be great conversations.
Let's go with loyalty since that's what you said first.
Okay. All right. I like that. Loyalty.
Yep. All right.
That'll be good. That'll be good. We will have, I can already see percolating on some things we're going to get into. It's going to be fun.
I mean,
I like that.
Here's 3 guys that worked at the same place for 20 to 30 years each.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
That doesn't
not the easiest place
anymore.
to work.
Yeah. That'll be, I like that. That'll be fun. Because that'll be, there's all kinds of stuff in that one. I like it. Yeah, that'll be good.
All right,
we can finally
guys.
argue. We can get a public airing of this Steelers issue.
I can't wait for you to explain that. That's so hard. Respect, though. I was a Cubs fan, still am. Been watching them as we podcast.
All right, we'll see you guys next week with loyalty.
All right, thanks for listening. Appreciate it.